about you, but through Christ I can do all. Stand up tall with my left foot, post up on the wall. Easy to fall in the streets, life can get hard. Streets used to be a lot different from what man recall. Me a aim for my post like a soccer ball. Feel run the road that don't need a map at all. Babylon them want to hold me with a strap at all. But man a liar, me no Cancer nor Capricorn.
Though they want to see me fall, I'm gonna be okay. Though my back's against the wall, I'm gonna be okay. They fighting me now, I'm gonna be okay. Jehovah eyes are watching me now, I'm gonna be okay.
Welcome to Hope in the Six. I'm your host Eddie Martinez, and today we have a special guest, Jordana Goldlist.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you
Thank
doing?
you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. So let the audience know, what do you do for a living?
I'm a criminal defense lawyer, my own practice, JHD Criminal Law.
Okay. So with that said, we're going to go to a video, and we'll be back after this.
So in law school, I realized that the experiences that I had on the street, gave me a different frame of reference for not only the client, but also the cases we were dealing with. I understood the way that some of these crimes were being committed. I understood some of the background of what was bringing people into the criminal justice system. And I think it gives me a better appreciation for my clients as people, separate and apart from what their case is about. And I think that sometimes it makes it easier for them to open up to me. I think that within certain sets of charges, it's easier for me to speak to clients. And so I've used that in order to build up the practice that I have.
Okay, wonderful. So I want to know, what made you become a lawyer?
When I was a child, I had a family member that was arrested for a criminal offense.
Mm-hmm.
And the lawyer that he hired was a very prominent criminal defense lawyer in the city.
Right.
And I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old. And every time he called, the whole house stopped moving. And whenever he wanted to see us, we jumped. Basically ran the house. And as a little kid, I wanted that. I wanted to be that important in a family's life.
Okay.
And I decided to become a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Lost sort of sight of that dream when I was a teenager, and then regained it in my last year of undergrad.
Okay. So how hard is it, for those probably aspiring, how hard is it to become now a lawyer?
It's a lot of school, so you have to be dedicated to
Mm-hmm.
school. You have to really want it, as opposed to just wanting what you think it's going to get you, because it's a lot of hours, it's
Right.
a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication.
Right.
I work an average of 80 hours a week, and if I didn't enjoy what I do,
Right.
I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And
Right.
so I think if you're passionate about anything, you don't think about it in terms of how hard it is. It's a matter of how dedicated you need to be to do it.
Okay. So let's talk about you, like, defending your clients. Talk about your clients. What kind of people what kind of cases do you have and people you defend?
So the majority of my time is spent defending people who are charged with murder. That's been the practice of the focus of my practice for the last probably 3 or 4 years. So 75% of my practice is homicide related, and the other 25 is guns and drugs.
So tell me about those cases. I guess some would be innocent and some are guilty, right?
Yeah.
So, man, being a lawyer dealing with that now, the stress level. Tell me that stress level, or is not no stress to you, or because sometimes you get you're representing somebody and you take on their the emotions of what they're going through. You're representing them, so it's kind of a merger of emotions, something like that, right?
Sort of. So it's high stress to manage the case. When you're in a murder trial, obviously you have someone's life in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the rest of my practice on hold and just focus on the one case. And the stress needs to be managed. So I go to the gym, I go to the shooting range, and I focus on the case. And those are the 3 things that really keep me focused and balanced.
Right. Okay. Well, I recently sent you something in regards to Lamar Skeet. We don't have to go fully deep into it, but I had his wife and a friend on the show, and they really want justice for this young man. But he was charged based on his lyrics, no other evidence, but something he said in regards to snitching. A guy was murdered, and he was blamed for it. How now? What are your thoughts in regards to a situation like that?
I think it's really unfortunate, to say the least. We're seeing that more and more in criminal law, where rap lyrics are being used to perpetuate an investigation. And then when rap lyrics are found, especially when they're posted on YouTube, as well as pictures on Instagram. People are posing with guns. People are posing with bricks of money as telephones. And the police are scouring social media to try to use these things against people. And so I warn all my clients, like, whether or not that money is real, whether or not this is the life you're living, it's the life that you're portraying yourself as living that could potentially be used against you.
Right, but I still, I mean, I agree 100%, but I still believe you need like evidence. Like, I said, shoot 'em up. You know, it's this song, so many songs of violence. You know, and I talked about Bob Marley singing over a song says, "I shot the sheriff.
Right.
I didn't shoot the deputy." So I mean, are you gonna charge him now if that guy? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, where are the lines when it comes to artistic expression? You know. So there, I think I definitely agree. You shouldn't do this because you're warranting negative, to you, but at the same time, we shouldn't be judged by that unless, like, solely. You need full evidence. If it all leads up, you know what I'm saying? I killed him. His name is Michael Thomas. I went to his house and broke the door open. And he's really dead. Then you know what I'm saying? That's a confession. But lyrically, people say that. It's a genre of rap called gangster rap. Like, it talk tough. Not everybody is really tough. You think all these people really got guns and really doing things? It's just like you see a movie. You know, you got an action film, you got horror films, and
absolutely,
it's
creative. It's all creativity for sure. That particular lyric, the police tried to link back to a previous case involving someone else. The deceased in the murder trial was actually testified against Lamar Skeet at a previous trial. And so that's where the connection came through. It wasn't just the lyric, it was the lyric that the police believed was connected to this other case.
Right. But it was that was dismissed, that first
absolutely
case.
He was acquitted.
That means you can't reuse that. Like, in America, I think they call it double jeopardy or something like that.
So he wasn't charged again with the same shooting. It was charged with the subsequent shooting, linking the first shooting in the first case as motive for the subsequent case, which resulted in the death.
Right.
Again, not making it right. I agree with you that rap lyrics do not belong in the courtroom, period.
Right.
Because I do think that it's difficult to separate who's telling the truth in their lyrics and who's simply giving a narrative of what they've perhaps seen or perhaps have sort of fantasized about. We can't separate those things.
But in so that case now, there was no real. I mean, even the lyrics are talking about snitches and stuff like that. Snitching, like, it still doesn't validate saying I'm gonna kill you or I killed you. So I just. But even moving forward a little bit, like, so now they denied him, to hear it again. How can you fight that? It looked nearly impossible or probably impossible, but there's nothing you could do? Like, you're just going to have to accept that?
Yes. The Supreme Court of Canada has denied leave, which means they won't hear the case. And once the Supreme Court of Canada, which is the highest court, has said we're not going to hear this case,
like, it's over with. Oh my God. That's so sad.
Yeah, so it's been through all levels of court in Canada. It's been through the Ontario Court, the Superior Court, the Court of Appeal. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court of Canada, and they are refusing to hear it.
There's a young man in America, I forgot his name, something Junior, but he was charged with, like, drug trafficking, big charge, did some years already.
Right.
The rapper 50 Cent is going to do a series about him, like his life. I don't know if you heard of him, but I don't remember the name, so that doesn't help. But this man did time. They sentenced him, but he became a lawyer from prison. Like,
I read about him. Yes, I did.
And now,
I read about him. I think we follow each other on Twitter.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
So I mean, so he's able to overturn his thing.
Yes.
But I mean, I guess it's a different situation because
I think he served his time, came out, and because of his experience in the system, right? He decided to put that energy to good use and became a lawyer and now wants to fight for other people.
But in his more detail in this show, he's fighting his case, like that that conviction, there's something in regards to the conviction.
But Lamar had that appeal, right? Yeah. He went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal agreed with the lower court. So it's not that he didn't have that opportunity to have the conviction set aside. And then his legal team applied to the Supreme Court of Canada to again reevaluate the case, and they refused to hear it.
Okay, and once they refuse, there's no axing them again. That's unfortunate. So I don't know. Very sad. But we're gonna go to a break. But after the break, we'll get back and get into more of your story.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Fresh. Open the 6, man. We trying to make a movement, man. You know, hope, helping offenders, man. H to the Izzo, P to the Izzy. Give me a Jason Fresh beat. Watch me get busy. Who is he? I'm just a prophet of the new age. See me on the gram, posted up on your pizzazz. The crowny throwing women, vinegar sipping to get across to my peeps. I'm down to take a whipping, y'all. Chasing fool's gold. I'm chasing fool's soul. Y'all for that peso. I'm trying to get their case closed, get them out of jail, get them out the system. I be the still voice to anyone who wanna listen. Back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today we have the criminal defense lawyer, Jordana, Goldlist.
Thank you.
Amazing. So, that little segment you just seen was bars for bars. Every now and then we have, not myself, it's just that today we just decided to use me and Jason Fresh. You know, he's out in the city. We have youth that sing, rap, or do poetry, spoken word. You know, say something for those that are incarcerated, something encouraging. But later on in the segment, we're gonna do another thing. Either I read letters from prison, jail, or I read a newsletter.
Wow.
You know, so it's a community. Inside voice from the inside, voice from the outside. So that's the segment. You know, but we're just trying to build community. We're trying to reinforce positivity. You know, those that are in jail, you were sentenced for something, you were convicted. Okay, what's next? You see what I'm saying? So we're not gonna just, you know, the law already penalized them for that. So right now we're just trying to find a way to rehabilitate them, get them a voice. That's why we read their letters or the newsletter from the jails. We want to give them a voice, want to empower them. You know what I mean? Because they are coming back to society.
Right.
And if we don't try to help them, they're going to come back the way they left, or even worse.
Well, that's what I speak about a lot, is that the missing piece in the justice system, if we really wanted to rehabilitate, is reintegration, right? That's the piece that's missing from the system. It doesn't exist. People are let out, and they're let out to their own devices without any form of assistance to get them back on their feet.
That's correct. So, 13 and a half. I want to talk about that.
Yes.
So tell me where that came from.
13 and a half is an old jailhouse tattoo that I put on my arm during the course of a murder trial, and it stands for 12 jurors, 1 judge, and half a chance.
So based on that murder trial, that's why you did it, or just that was the time?
Well, I think it's an excellent representation of what the justice system stands for people who are accused of serious criminality, especially people who are accused and in situations where they may not have the resources to defend themselves, or they come from situations of being impoverished. I think that, you know, we've spoken before about this, but I think that the justice system is designed in a fashion that keeps people stuck, especially the most disadvantaged within society.
Right.
And so 13 and a half represents that system, that revolving door.
12 jurors, 1 judge, half a chance. Wow. That is so powerful and true.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. There's so many people faced with that, and it's like, you got a judge, and you got these 12 people sitting down, and your life is in their hands.
Yeah. And you have the powerful, endless resources of the state.
Elaborate a little bit so I can understand that.
So the police are obviously very well funded. The Crown's office is well funded.
Right.
The Crowns have the resources to hire experts. Most accused people don't, especially when it comes to people who are charged with murder. The expense of a murder trial is unfathomable for most people who find themselves in that situation. And legal aid has been forced to scale back considerably even more. And so we're in a position moving forward that one defense lawyer will be properly afforded to a person charged with murder, when you typically have 2 Crown attorneys and 2 OICs, 2 officers in charge of the case that are set up to prosecute an individual. And so you have what's supposed to be the scales of justice that are balanced taking on a very unbalanced perspective.
Right. So then, what can we do about that? That's probably you can't answer that. But I mean, what do we do about that situation? Because that's so unjust.
It
we
is.
call it the justice system.
Yes.
But it's like reverse. I mean, I'm not trying to bash or come
certainly.
against the government or nothing like that. But it's about being real and honest. Like
Yes.
like the justice system. People want justice, and it sounds unjust. It sounds unfair. It sounds biased. It sounds rigged. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things negative because we're not seeing proper results. So I mean, what do we do? I mean, we probably. That's a hard question, right? But like, what are the steps do we do to make a difference?
And regardless of what group you ask, and that's the interesting part. I've been a part of panels and discussion groups with mothers of murder victims who also feel like they don't have a say, and the system is unjust in the sense of ignoring their needs, and they see themselves as a participant in this whole system. And so you have all of these competing needs that aren't getting met, and at the end of the day, I think it's because it's an economic system, and we're fueling a system that I was speaking to someone who counted 16 people in the courtroom who are getting paid at all times during the course of any trial. So you have a system that perpetuates itself and needs to.
It's sad. But speaking of mothers now and like victims, like it's so sad, and I don't know what's being done in regards, but probably they're doing something. But I feel, I mean, unless it exists already, but I don't know of it. But I feel that like victims and the person that committed the crime, there should be some way that they could, like, in a part of their sentence is to now face that. Unless the victim don't want to, like, hey, I don't want to kill my son, or he did something, I don't want to see them. But there should be some, like, part of the sentence, like they have to face the parents or something. Because, like, say I have a beef with somebody and I hurt him. My beef probably real too. Maybe he did something to me. I'm not saying justifying the action, but what I'm saying is I was emotionally connected to a situation and I attacked him. You understand? But me attacking him hurts his mom, his sister, his daughter. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So for me to think like, hey, I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm only thinking about him, right? The target. Enemy. He's my enemy, and I hurt him. You know what I'm saying? But for accountability, and we talk about recovering or reintegration or coming back to society, they need to now face that, not just the sentence. Okay, you're sentenced. They now have to see, okay, to me, the mother or the daughter, like, oh my God, like, you killed my father. If set up, if it's a part of their sentence now, they at least, if nothing could get to them, because sometimes they kill somebody, they go do their time and come out murder again. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing to make them feel remorseful. But now if you bring now a victim, if they're willing, you know what I'm saying? Because not everybody would be willing, but some will definitely be willing. You know what I'm saying?
So they have that opportunity during the sentencing, which is that portion of the trial. Let's say someone's convicted, you move on to the sentencing phase. Every victim has the opportunity, and every sort of relative, like when I use the word victim, obviously it's not just the deceased, it's their family, their friends, people that are close to them. They have the opportunity to have their say in court. And they can either take the stand and give that testimony orally, or they can write out what's called a victim impact statement. And the Crown Attorney would read that in court. So my client would have the opportunity to hear about the harm that was caused by them once convicted, of course.
Well, yeah. So with that, sorry.
Yes.
Well, I have had a client, same thing, and the victim statement, the victim was there. That is, yes, but I'm saying that not in that setting, because they're being charged right now. So
it's after conviction.
So this now in the court, and they have all this stuff, they could still be like a little bit, because they're gonna face, like, they're in the process of being feeling the penalty.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, after the penalty, after you sitting in the box now, it makes it a little different, because now I'm sentenced, I'm in jail. Now think about what you did. Now see me. Because in that moment, you still could be a little like, oh, they testifying against me. Oh, you again. Like, you could still be a little bit defensive. You see what I'm saying? So I know of that existing already. But I'm just saying a little bit more.
I would fast forward a year or 2 years when they've had the opportunity to consider the position they find themselves in. And I would like to see it as part of a healing process.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
right?
That's right.
Where a person who's been convicted of a serious violent crime, who wants to reach out and express remorse and express an apology, some don't. Some don't have remorse. Some don't have that apology to offer, but some truly do. And I think a lot do. I think that a lot of times people find themselves in situations where they're reacting, and it's something that I talk about quite a bit I find that most criminality is the result of environmental factors that pave the way to bad decisions. And so we can't discount the fact that it was a bad decision to, stab someone or shoot someone. But it was an environmental situation that led the way, as opposed to someone who seeks pleasure from doing things like that. I think those are few and far between.
I worked in the jails first before I became an officer, before I came doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
So working in the jails, I had their files in a computer and on a book before me. And I look and see the charges, and you judge people by that. But me working inside, I realize that majority of people are just human beings that messed up.
Yes.
There's a small population that are cold-hearted killers and wicked people.
Yes.
There's a small population, but in society's eyes, it looks like it's a majority of population is the wicked people, and there's a small good people.
Right.
But being inside, working with them, seeing them every day, my mentality, my perspective changed a whole lot. You understand what I'm saying? So then now, I know for sure that if now this setting was set up, it will make a big difference, because a lot of these people are remorseful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people they're a victim of circumstances, and they made bad choices. You know what I'm saying? But they shouldn't be penalized forever, and there should be a system designed to help him or her get back on track.
Right.
Sometimes you need to see that victim. Look at that daughter in her face. You understand what I'm saying? Because if somebody murdered my father and I'm a child, I want to see that person. You understand what I'm saying? And let them see. You know what I mean? Even if they can't speak, but just hear me talk, and that's it. Because it's dependent on the violence level and all that stuff. And they just say, you killed my father. Now I'm going to have to grow up without a father. How do you feel? Do you think, and not let them live with that. That's harsher than 5 years.
Or let them face and explain.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
apologize and take responsibility when they're ready to. If there was, a way to have the two interact, I think that the power of that exchange for both. I think about it as well from the perspective of, the mothers, the daughters, the sisters who have lost someone to violence. Right. To have that sense of closure where the attacker actually says, listen, I'm sorry. This was a drug beef. I was a part of a gang. He was a part of a gang. And this was the end result. And I want to make a difference. Right. I think that's huge. I think that to have that closure on both sides,
definitely,
does a service to both sides of the equation, for sure.
And then we were rehabilitating and reintegrating. That's why it should be part of the sentence. Like, if you do this, we can reduce your sentence a little bit, because at least we know something to help them to go back into society. Right? We're going to a break. We'll be back after this. Hope in the 6. Keep watching.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez. Today we have special guest Jordana Goldlist. Hey, it's just some powerful things we're talking about. This is, that's why I'm grateful for the show and the opportunity, and I thank you for coming on, because we need to hear from different perspectives. I don't know what you know, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So when we talk about it, it opens my mind even more, and especially the audience out there that probably don't have a clue of how the justice system works or nothing about this stuff, but they're interested in watching and learning. This is a learning experience for those, you know what I mean? And it's just very good. So I appreciate this. But we're going to go to another video with you, and we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Keep watching, Hope in the 6.
The life we live is the lessons we teach. The life I live today is that of a criminal defense lawyer. That means I defend so-called criminals for a living. And because I don't do anything in moderation, most of my clients are charged with murder, drug trafficking, or firearms offenses. I spend years getting to know my clients. Generally, their cases take 2 to 3 years from start to finish. And during the time that I get to know my clients, I get to learn about them, their likes and their dislikes, their history and their goals. What I found is that most of my clients become my clients not because they're intrinsically bad or evil. They become my clients because of environmental factors that pave the way for bad decisions, or greed. But greed isn't considered evil. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry is making billions of dollars off of the fentanyl epidemic, and people are dying every day. No one's criminalizing them. So why is Big Pharma laughing all the way to the bank while my illegal fentanyl dealers are facing double digits to be branded as criminals, unemployable for the rest of their life? Because the system is working. I think that the criminal justice system is an economic system designed to keep people stuck. That's why we have probation. That's why we have parole. We keep people branded as criminals and unemployable. And when someone's unemployable and hungry, they have no choice but to resort to further criminal activity. And so the label criminal actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I have no images to flash on the screen with statistics to provide. I have no scientific research to support what I'm saying. What I have is experience. As a criminal lawyer today, but as just a criminal 20 years ago.
Wow. So I like the ending too. It says criminal lawyer, then it's a criminal. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the criminal part. People need to know that. You know what I mean? Some of you, so you were a criminal? Let's hear about it.
I mean, technically, yes. Technically, yes. I started using and selling drugs from the time I was really young. I started, using when I was 12 years old. I was, selling, always small time, but I was selling by the time I was 15. I was homeless, back and forth from 16 to 17, and I was selling dope to be able to pay for a place to stay at night. And then things just sort of escalated, and I didn't actually leave that life until I was 25 and starting my first semester of law school.
Right. But that is a powerful testimony. That's a powerful statement. How did you get out of that? Because a lot of people, the old Jordana never comes out of that.
I know.
Or it gets worse as the years go by.
Absolutely.
They deteriorate and they end up, dying, overdosing or something. So how did you get out of that? Because people need to know. A lot of people, before you answer, will say, "Oh, you don't know where I'm coming from, so you can't relate," but you actually can.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Tell them, how did you get out?
So, I mean, I hit bottom really quickly, right? I don't think I do anything in moderation, including the acceleration to the bottom.
Right.
And so by the time I was 18 years old, I was a homeless high school dropout, heavily addicted to drugs. I was a junkie. Just before I turned 19, I had a fatal overdose, and that the near fatal overdose, and I was revived in an ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Wow.
And so when I came out of that, I recognized the need for change. It took me about 3 months before I actually recognized that the change had to be more than just getting out of a little bit. I had to quit that life completely, or I was going to die in that life. It was really that simple, and I didn't want to die in that life, and I didn't want to spend 10 years having these near fatal overdoses or these chances with death. I didn't want to go back in and out of jail. I had been arrested when I was 16, saw the inside of a cell, and not just the inside of a holding cell. I actually spent 4 days in solitary confinement. And so I recognized really quick, this is not the life that I wanted. I was fortunate enough to have a support network that helped me when I was ready to get out, actually make that transition out. But it was slow and steady for the next few years, just crawling my way up, incrementally.
Wow. Any help, support system?
Yeah, I had family. I had a drug counselor who became involved in my life after I had the overdose. He wanted to send me to a 6-month rehab. I refused at the time. 3 months later, I called him back and I said, "Get me in anywhere. I can't keep living like this."
Right.
And so he fast-tracked my application, and within a month, I had a bed at a 6-month rehab. And that's really, I needed that sort of long-term facility in order to really get over the withdrawals. And so I did that, and I came out, and I had family that supported me, and I had friends that I had had years earlier that were sober, and they were prepared to support me again. So I think a lot of people that stay in that life for longer, right? If I had been in that life for 5 or 6 years, those people that are counting on you to come back, they can't stick around. They can't wait that long. And so I was lucky enough that it only took me 3 years to hit a bottom that I wanted to come out of. And so I had this support network. And then I found programs to get back into high school and get into university.
That's so beautiful.
It was slow and steady.
That's so that's amazing because you went from bottom to the top. You up there
like
now.
real bottom, like real bottom.
The real bottom. The rock bottom.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't go nowhere past down, right? What is only
I
way up
could
to
have
go?
died. I guess.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but in the ground is the final.
That's it.
But I mean, you were so low.
I could have been in jail. I could have. I could have found myself in the same situation that most of my clients have found themselves in. You're in a bad situation that results in a lengthy penitentiary sentence.
But the guy who referred you to counselor, shout out to him because Hope in the Six, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. What people like that, help people like even your support system. Hope in the Six is not only professional capacities, people working in that, but friends, you know what I'm saying? Hope in the Six is when you have somebody who say, "Listen, come on, you can't do it," and riding for you. Right. And a lot of times people fail because they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Agreed. So for me, when I work with an individual, I'm there to nag them. You know what I'm saying? I don't nag them all the time. I give them space. Right. But then I'm coming back with a nag if you're not changing. You know what I'm saying? Because people need that push. And I see myself, when I push these young ones, it really works. They say, okay. Sometimes I say, okay, I'm going to do this for you. I'm like, you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you. But I won't say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing you're doing it for me. Do it for me.
That's it.
Help yourself for me. You know
what
I'm saying?
And sometimes it's even that phone call that says, okay, I'm ready, or that phone call from a friend you haven't heard from in a year. You don't know, instead of getting angry that you haven't heard from them in a year, just be there, right? Like, we spend so much time worrying about the small stuff. You don't know what's been going on in their life. And so I say, when a client of mine shows up in court and they have someone to support them, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a family member, I say, you know what, good on you for actually being there when they need you, because they're going to remember that. Like, it's it's when we need that helping hand, and maybe we don't ask for it until it's a long way into the process. But to turn your back on that really does a disservice, not just to the community and that person, but yourself too. I think we owe it.
It's very true. But boy, life is just a struggle, and the reality of it is just people need help. Yes. We want to see a better society, a safer community. We have to really focus on helping. You know what I'm saying? Not increasing police. That's not going to make a difference. Police respond. We appreciate their work, but they respond to calls. They don't.
It's reactive.
You know what I'm
Policing
saying?
is reactive.
That's right. So we have to worry about the proactive, and we making a difference, interrupting, the situation. So community services out there, and like they don't really get the attention that they need, because there's more police, more other agencies that are really responding. But the people that are out in the field doing the groundwork, they rarely get recognized. You know what I'm saying? But they're the one now who are making the connection. They're the ones who are making the calls and going out there and really making a difference. So we do want to emphasize on them. We do want to shout them out. That's what Hope is in the Six about.
Right.
Even but we don't exclude law enforcement because they do help. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people say,
we need them.
Forget the police, but when something going on, who you gonna call?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? So we got to be honest and be real. You know what I'm saying? Let's work together. That's what the community is here for. Let's build. But we do have a struggle because the justice system. We still have the 13.5. We still have that issue that's a reality. So we have to figure out now, how can we now make a difference in there? You know what I mean? But people like you in the court system fighting for that client and trying to and standing up, and because of your rough upbringing, it give you a fire. It give you a, you know what I'm saying? You've been there. You've been through some struggle. So it give you, to me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you got a fire.
I do. And I see how, if I had a criminal record for the things that I did, I probably would not be a lawyer.
Right.
That's the reality. I was fortunate enough to not be arrested for the things that I was doing, but so many of my clients that are arrested for doing the same things that I had to do to get by, they end up with these lawyers that just want them to plead guilty.
Right.
Oh, it's easier, it's quicker, you get out of jail, plead guilty. And it's like, no, you fast forward 10 years and you want out of this life. What are you going to do with a criminal record 4 pages long because you've had a lawyer that was too lazy to run your case? Yep. That is probably the bane of my existence, because quite frankly, I know what that record is going to do to that person when they're ready to come out of the life. And it's a chain that's always going to hold you back from being something that you actually have the potential to be.
With that said, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back after these few messages. Hope in the Six.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, today with special guest Jordana Goldlist. You know, welcome. It's been a pleasure so far. This is so many good stuff. I mean, this is a lot of information people need to know. You know, just how to navigate through the system. What are they up against? You know, this is a reality. At this moment, I'm going to read from a news article called "Cell Count for Prisoners, Ex-Prisoners, and Their Families." We normally, every other show or almost every show, I read this. You know, from those that are in jail, they get their voice out. You know what I mean? So not only is it in the newspapers and the articles, but now it's on his broadcast. Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. So their voice is out there. We want to give them a little lifeline. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because being locked up, you know, you just shut up. But I'm gonna read this article. This article is called "Be a True Revolutionary: Become the Change" by Nick Passion. Deep down inside, we all wish for a kinder and a more caring world in which to live. Such a world, I contend, would require alternatives to violence and dehumanizing correctional centers that fail miserably to correct, that provide no remedy for victims of harm, and that do nothing to address the conditions that cause violence and social harm. It requires, too, that we challenge the structure of oppression, capitalism, patriarchy, racism, punitive penal system that serve to both protect the powerful and the privileged, and punish the very scapegoats they helped to create in the first place. And that we replace these genuinely democratic policies and practice governed by values like fairness, equality, and caring. A better world, then, requires revolutionary change. But here's the thing. Such a change will never come about unless we fully own up to the harms that we have created and become ourselves the kind of change we want. Revolutionary change, in other words, must begin with each and every one of us. Shout out to Cell Count. Wow. This is Hope in the Six, but this is powerful.
That was powerful.
And this is what we were talking about, you know, like the change and, you know, owning up and, you know,
taking responsibility in order to move beyond. Yes. We
must. We cannot leave that out of the equation. You know, we have to now talk about it. We have to make plans. And, the writer, Nick, he was talking about the government, their responsibility, and then he was talking about us, you know. But he said, become the change. You know what I mean? I want change. I want to see things different. I have to become the change. You know, me personally, you know, I know that a lot of people are racialized for color. I'm a black man in society, and I never not think about that. You know what I'm saying? Because in society, you are judged a certain way. People look at you. So when I'm in public, you know, I represent black people. And that sounds probably crazy, you know what I'm saying? But when I'm on the bus, when I see people, I'm saying, good morning, hello, how are you? You know what I'm saying? Because people look at black people a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm there, I want to be that change. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't want to just say, stop looking at that certain way. So when I'm there now, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Hello, how are you doing? I carry myself, articulate, hi, and just be niceful and respectful. So at least that black experience, they're not going to say is a bad one.
Right, you want to be a good human.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? So, because people look at people judge people. You know what I mean? You look at, you wear certain clothes. Unfortunate. I'm not saying you're supposed to. That's wrong. But unfortunately, people look at you a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But how about when you carry yourself a certain way, when you articulate yourself a certain way, and you still get treated a certain way? You know what I'm saying? It's unfairness. But as the writer said, become the change. You know, that's very powerful. And shouts out to Sub Count. That's a wonderful thing they're doing, giving voice for those that are locked up. But I want to talk to you before we end, because we're coming down to a close. I want to talk to you about who will judge the judge. Talk to me, like, what made you come up with that?
So who judges the judge?
Who judges the judge?
Who judges the judge? I don't know how I came up with that. When I started practicing criminal law, like I said, I represent a lot of people that are engaged in activity that I myself had participated in through circumstances, and I knew that I wasn't a bad person committing those offenses. It was a set of factors that led to those decisions. And yet I would walk into the courthouse and it's, oh, good morning, counsel. Oh, pass by the lines. You don't have to do anything. You're treated with this sort of different level of respect because you're carrying a Law Society card. Mm-hmm. And that means something. It's supposed to say something about your character of a person. And I don't think it does, right? I think that's symbolic of what my profession is. It's not symbolic of who I am as a human. And that's different. And we walk into a courtroom and the judge comes in and everybody stands up and we have this certain decorum. And the profession is deserving of that level of respect, right. But I don't know if the person deserves that respect because I don't know them personally. And so I started, after a year or so, recognizing this disconnect. And so who judges the judge isn't about disrespecting the role of judges or judges as a person. Right. It's really taking the top of the hierarchy to question the entire hierarchy and the entire system. And so many participants of the criminal justice system have their identity attached to what they do. But we wouldn't have that identity, we wouldn't have that profession if it wasn't for the quote-unquote criminals, right? They're driving the system. Without the criminals, there's no system to have to, stand tall with. And so I think when the whole system gets turned upside down, we have to start thinking about who these people are as people. And so who judges the judge is about taking a step back and recognizing that the labels we've put on people, whether it be judge or lawyer or police officer or criminal, is not necessarily indicative of the person. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe that level of respect that we're supposed to give judges as a profession is deserving of who that person is, and most of the time I believe it probably is. But I know for a fact that when we disrespect or we treat criminals as being untrustworthy because they've committed crimes, we do a disservice to that person. We do a disservice to society. Right.
When I think of that, though, it's so powerful because as a former law enforcement officer, deputy sheriff, when we do patrol, you patrol different towns. You're not like stationed to one city every day or one area, right? Okay. And as a sheriff, deputy sheriff, you do the county, so it's like multiple cities. But when you're in like a rich neighborhood and you're patrolling there, you're like on pins and toes. So needles, right? When you're in the ghetto hood. Now you're a man. You got the power. And who judges the judge is important. Let me explain. Say I'm in a city. I'm in a suburb or something, and then I pull over this guy. Yeah. His father's a judge. This is who judges the judge. So now I pull him over. Then he's like, who? Like, because he got power because his father's somebody of importance. You know who I am? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, what? You violated the law. You're going to jail or you give it a ticket. You understand? Right. And then you get the call saying, let that guy go. People don't know this, right? Or let him go. Right. Or I could get fired for arresting somebody. The wrong person. Who judges the judge? You know what I'm saying? I could get arrested. So think about the officer that goes into the rich neighborhood and he can't use his power just enforcing the law regular. Right. Just honest and regular enforcing law. He can't. Now he goes back to a poor community and now some young guy's like, yo, get out my face, or rough. Don't you think? I'm just telling you this is the truth of things and people don't know it. That vengeance for that guy he couldn't arrest is going to come double fold on that person. So he's like, yo, get off. And he will rough him up and you don't know. Right. You just think it's just solely on him. But sometimes it's coming from what you can't do in certain areas. It's the whole system. It's a system. And then they call. And then now you're in a situation where you're abusing this guy, which you probably didn't have to. But just because he resists you a little bit, you're like, no, I'm an officer. You're going to respect me. Because the other guy didn't respect you. So, I mean, there's so much dynamics that we don't know. We just think, Well, and you got to think about the kid that's been arrested. Mm-hmm. He's probably been stopped and frisked and searched while coming home from the community centers, the basketball courts, tutor programs late at night. He's coming home just living life, trying to get ahead of the life, stopped, searched. How many times can a person be
subjected to a physical search
Beautiful.
when nothing is on them
Beautiful.
before they start having some attitude.
Right.
And then the next cop that comes to stop them, oh, why do you have such attitude? I have such attitude because everyone in the uniform that you're wearing stops me and, is grabbing my genitals looking for drugs that isn't there.
That's correct.
And so we're setting up a system where people are having these negative interactions. We don't need that, right? We don't need to have that.
That hit close to home. You know what I'm saying? Like my son, and it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? That happened to my son. I had to run down from a building to go see what's going on. And when I got there, the attitude changed because of parents there. That's why people need their parents and they need people to protect them because you have a father, and they change up. But when nobody don't care for you, they won't care for you. People won't care for you. Right. You know what I'm saying? They need to see people caring for them. But on another note, we're coming to an end, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Great show. I love what you're doing. I really love it.
I just Mother's Day's coming up.
I know.
So
Sunday.
I normally
Remind people, Sunday.
Sunday Mother coming up, so everybody better make sure they get something for their mother. But at this time, I'm gonna do something before we close. I'm just gonna perform a song, and this is dedicated to my mother. I'm an artist. I call myself the dying thief because it's talk about second chances. It's about the guy on the cross beside Christ. He was convicted. He was guilty. He was sentenced to die. But he asked for hope and second chance. That's where my name come up. I use that in my lyrics. I rap. Interact with the youth. There's a bridge in the connection. So I got songs. I got bars too. It's not just the people in the community. So I drop it. So I'm gonna do a little something before we close. Hoping the 6. Y'all stay tuned. Shit. Dying thief. Jordana Goldlist. Criminal defense lawyer, Said I'm no good. I'm a heathen. I'm a monster. I'm a demon. I'm a waste suit. I'm a bad breed. I'm a failure. I won't succeed. I was born a sinner. Hey, it wasn't more than just born a sinner. Hey, yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you. It's all in my nature. Born a sinner. Hey, it wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you. It's all in my nature. When I came out of the womb, I was in a bright room, stretching forward, pushing my feet to the doctor to give me some room. It was so plain to see, I need Papa around me, not only physically, mentally, but emotionally. But Mama held her own, she raised us all alone. So I promised to make you proud before you go on home. Back then it wasn't my plan, 14 thinking I'm a man. Well, walking the streets, I didn't understand. I'm born a sinner. Hey, it wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you, it's all in my nature. Born a sinner. Hey, it wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you, it's all in my nature. Mama know I gave you trouble, but you raised me well. Though I gave you hell, Mama never failed, never broke a nail. Whipping my tail, just keeping it real. It's okay if I tell you never beat me down, only build me up. Looking to the Lord like fill my cup. Now that's what's up, Mama keep it up. I'll be by your side if you're weaking up. Never heard it before when I'm speaking up, and it's coming from the heart. Is it deep enough? I'ma show you love, cause you gave me enough. I know it's coming from the Lord like straight above. So come on, get your hug. I'm gonna show you love, and that is coming from me. See, I was born a sinner. Hey. It wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you, it's all in my nature. Born a sinner. Hey. It wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. Type of foundation, don't hate you, it's all in my nature. You see them crazy little kids got a mind of their own. After a little while, they just act like they grown. But if you train up the child in the way they should go, after a little while, they be singing, dear mama, I'm sorry. I love you, never meant to give so much trouble. And I want you to know that I love you. I was born a sinner. Hey, it wasn't more than just born a sinner. Yeah. To provide ancient, don't hate him, it's all in my nature. Shout out to all the mothers, happy Mother's Day tomorrow, Sunday. God bless you all. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. God bless. This is Hope in the 6. Jordana, Goldlist. Y'all stay tuned, keep watching. Support positivity, let it go viral. Hope in the 6. God bless.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm gonna be okay. I will fear no evil, that will my rod and my staff. I'm gonna be okay. Thou preparest a table before me in front of my enemies. I'm gonna be okay. Thou anointed my head with